My name is Anthony Cusimano, and I'm about to teach you something about the concept of abstraction. When you hear the word abstraction, you might think about an artist that cut off his ear to give as a gift for a lady of the night. So that type of abstraction is actually an artistic movement. But have you ever actually considered it as a concept? I assume you said no. The video actually works much better if you did. Just go along with it. The concept of abstraction is actually pretty amazing, and it makes just about everything we say and do better without our knowing it's happening at all. Abstraction is actually a super old concept. Many smart dudeologists believe the term reared its pretty little face between 50 to 100,000 years ago. And they believe it is a concept that is tightly tied with the evolution of language, which itself is an abstract concept. Very chicken and the egg kind of thing going on. So we're going to get more into that in just a bit, but first we're going to define what abstraction actually is. Now, the concept of abstraction itself is surprisingly simple. Webster defines abstraction as the act or process of abstracting, the state of being abstracted. Webster, that is not helpful at all. You can't use a word to define a word. Look, my definition is this. Abstraction is the simplified summary of something startlingly more superfluous. Put that in your dictionary and smoke it, Webster. That's a 5 times alliteration, and I didn't have to use the word to describe the word. Now, to break it down further, you can think about abstraction in a similar vein to that book report you wrote on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland in the 4th grade. You present just enough information in your summary to get the general point across, but don't incorporate every detail about Alice's address, Lewis Carroll's rampant drug abuse, or the concepts of constant subversion, let alone take on the idea of the inability to apply practical logic to any scenario in the novel. What are we talking about again? Oh, it's right, book reports. Book reports allow you to abstract the concept of a lengthy novel into a 5-paragraph essay. Did you report on every detail in your 4th grade report? I should hope not. But did the reader understand the high-level concepts of Alice's adventure? I hope so, otherwise you would have gotten a bad grade. Let's get into a better example. So let's jump back into language for a second. Part of the reason that these concepts are so tightly tied is because the idea of language itself is an abstraction of more complex communication. Early humans used abstraction to create words for concepts and ideas that they couldn't otherwise express. Think about how you would tell someone that you have a headache without using the word head or ache. And even that itself is an abstraction of what is actually going on inside your head, if you call it that. Language abstraction is really just the first step into a larger world of abstract thinking. Many believe that language came about to become one of the first abstraction layers of communication. Every time we create a new word or phrase or definition, we're essentially abstracting these concepts into that new word, and it encompasses everything that came before it. And then there are computers, the ultimate thinking machines. Abstraction happens on so many levels when it comes to computers and computer science, it's impossible not to talk about it. The same way that humans used words and phrases and language to abstract communication, computers do a very similar thing. When the modern computer started out, developers literally had to punch ones and zeros into these big honking cards and feed them into a machine to program exactly what it could do. This became abstracted over time by creating more abstract programming languages, such as C, which allowed developers to write more understandable instructions without having to parse through potentially millions of ones and zeros. That's just insane to think that they did. Now, of course, this became abstracted further with the concept of object-oriented programming, which allowed developers to abstract concepts within languages themselves, taking a thing, wrapping it up into an object, and feeding that thing into an even other thing. Repeat this process over the next 50 or so years, and you get to today, where every language is an abstraction of another language, which is an abstraction of, you get the idea. The concept of abstraction has been a growth catalyst for the human race, and everything we do since the dawn of time. The idea of rolling up these concepts into a larger, summarized concept allows us to take what is good from the complex and feed it into something more manageable and simple. The same way a cell phone has effectively combined a camera, a computer, a gaming device, the internet, and a phone into one solid functional piece of tech, that is abstraction working on every cylinder. Now, I'd like to take the briefest of moments to talk a little bit about us. Here at Veritas, we strive to make abstraction work for our customers' data centers. Realizing data has become the driving force for every organization, but also the data center itself has become a mess of wires, hardware, and complexity. We came up with a way to abstract the problem. With our enterprise data services, we are effectively abstracting the complexity out of the data center, making data highly available, protected, and understood so admins can get back to doing, well, whatever it is that they were actually hired to do. Back in the good old days of the dinosaurs, backup admins had to manually find, manage, and make copies of all of their important data when they had time for it. Not only was this unreliable, but it was totally based on their own preference for what they thought mattered most. Now we jump to today, and we seek to protect everything under the sun with more storage that costs more money, with more data to manage every second. Now neither of these situations is ideal because we haven't abstracted the actual problem. Managing data complexity requires many underlying complex systems, but creating that abstraction layer allows for a more automated, intelligent, and simplified experience. Gone are the days to buying more storage, intelligently and efficiently trying to find and protect exactly what you need before you even realize that you need it. That is the power of abstraction with Veritas Enterprise Data Services. So whether you're summarizing a movie for your friend, developing a better way to communicate, you can thank the concept of abstraction. And if you enjoyed this video, you can thank me, Abstracthony. I mean, Anthony. Geez, I've said the word like 100 times over the course of this video, and I'm sure you all hate it by now. I need a nap just to rest the vocal brain cord. So thanks for watching. Tell your friends and go out there and abstract something, whether it's a word, a concept, or your entire data center. Peace.